Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, all around the world to another episode of Off the Stage, the Men's Physique Show. As always, I have my host, the two greatest hosts on the planet Earth. Let's start with out of money making Mount Melbourne, Australia, the Australian voice of men's physique. You know him as Phil Naselli. Let's go. And the one and only heartbeat of men's physique, the man who influenced Ryan Terry so much that he's gone on a three reign streak. He is now champion 3 times in a row because of the motivation of this man right here. Our boy, the heartbeat of men's physique, Hart McGrath. Let's go. Woo-hoo-hoo. And ladies and gentlemen, the gaffer, Alim Bolton, IFBB Pro Masters. Happy to be here. Let's get after it. We got a beautiful show.
Big show. We're getting close,
How big,
boys.
Phil? How big is this show, Phil?
7 and a bit weeks away big. That's how big it is. It's it's massive.
No, I like that. That's what I'm talking about. The first F-bomb ever dropped on the Men's Physique Show. Avomp, the award goes to you.
I'll take it. We tried to keep it clean.
You heard it, Horde. Welcome back to the Men's Physique Show. It is Off the Stage, episode 6, 7, or 8, and we've been loving this so much, and obviously the Horde has as well. You heard Avomp. We're 7.5 weeks outside of the Arnold Classic. 7 weeks come Monday. We're right here, boys, and we're going to give you some of the best physique updates. We're going to talk about a lot of guys on these rosters, the latest physique updates, the latest training updates, and some posts from some of the greats around the world, around the league. We got it all for you in today's episode. I want to start this off by sharing my screen, and let's take a look at this Arnold Classic roster, because things are a-changing, and things are changing very fast, which is just crazy. And that's why you want to be subscribed. That's why you want to click that notification bell so you get all this first. Here we go, boys. Ladies and gentlemen, here's the roster. We're going to pull it up, and things are moving around. First thing I want to get into, though, are some major updates from the man who, on paper, guys, should win this show, and that's our boy, Brandon D. Hendrickson, the Latina King. He goes, without faith, nothing is possible. With it, nothing is impossible. I don't know if that was ChatGPT or what, but that hits. He says, stay ready, stay wavy, period. Take your damn notes. He says, we got 7 weeks to go, and tags the Arnold Classic, which he won back in 2016, giving us a little collage, a little montage of his physique update. Brandon's shape is there. The conditioning is probably just as far as any other athlete on that roster. I'm going to throw it to the GAFA first. What do you like about this physique update? We got 7 weeks to go. Alim Bolton.
First of all, thanks, Hart, and thanks, the Horde. We love you guys, man. You guys are incredible fans. Thank you for all the comments over the week. We feel so blessed to have you, our hardcore fans. When I look at Brandon, I see a guy who has stepped his game up and is growing into his show. And when we talk about what that means to grow into a show, what we're talking about is you start off before prep and you don't look like you will look when you hit the stage. You'll only look bigger and you're only going to look better. And it's not every athlete has the diet, has the commitment, has the coaching like Brandon has. Not only does he have the experience, but he's got Neil Yoda Hill behind him to help him grow into the show, because they recognize and they hear what the judges are saying, they hear what the fans are saying, and they hear what the Men's Physique Show is saying about Brandon and how the competition are getting closer and closer, catching up to him and possibly surpassing him because of something that originally wasn't a weakness back in the day in men's physique, but then became a weakness of his because of how much the division has grown and the concentration on back has become. The originator of the Hendrickson squeeze, but when he goes and flares the lats out, the hype is there with the squeeze, but the hit wasn't there with the open lats and the width and the density and the pause, the girth of the back, right? But now, just by this update, and we're talking about Avomp, you said we're 7.5 weeks out. Is that right?
7 and a bit, yes. Almost 7.
7 and a bit weeks out. And you look at his biceps. Biceps have never been this big on Brandon. You look at this front shot with his lats flaring out like that. You've never seen his lats flare out this much before. You look at that lower bottom right corner where you've got the 4 in the picture. His lats right there. You see the thickness in the lower lats. Has he ever had thickness in the lower lats like that ever? I've never seen it before. So you're literally talking about Brandon Hendrickson 2.0. He already owns the front shots. He comes with that back shot. Not only do I think he has the potential to win the Arnold, but I think he has the potential to continue to grow into the Olympia and win the Olympia, which would be amazing. And he could take over as the GOAT. What do you think?
Yeah, no, I completely agree with everything that you're saying. Like, this is a nice version of Brandon that we're seeing. I mean, 7 weeks ago, we spoke to another guy that's going to be on that stage with him. I'm not going to announce who it is just yet. But the one thing that he said was the rest of the pack needs to come in polished, because we know for sure that Brandon will come in polished. Now, like you said, he's got some new tissue on him. We're starting to see him chisel it away. And we are going to see a 2 point, maybe even a 3.0 version of Brandon in 7 and a bit weeks time. In terms of what you're saying, I agree with you. I've never seen Brandon's arms this thick, especially this far out. The muscle that is added to his back. We know he's got a beautiful front shot. We know this guy is absolute class when it comes to the posing and the way that he presents his physique on stage. So what we're going to see in 7 and a bit weeks time, I mean, it's going to be absolutely amazing to see, based on what we're seeing, at the moment. But yeah, there's a reason why this guy is the front runner at the moment. There's a reason why everyone's putting their chips, putting their money on Brandon to take this one out. And this is just the start of that.
Boys, I mean,
Hart,
go ahead.
Hart, I got a quick question for both of you and Edvan. If Brandon which he is, we all know he's going to continue to grow and get better and improve his back. I can't wait for us to hear what he's doing to bring up his back soon when we talk with him. But my question to you guys is this. If Brandon comes in better than he's ever come in before, which he clearly is on his way to do so, right? Like, this is the best we've ever seen him 7.5 weeks out. I don't care what year you take. This is absolutely his best. If someone beats him, do you guys think that person automatically moves into the number 1 slot and potentially knocks Ryan Terry out as well? Because that would mean that they would have to come in that much much crispier, that much more conditioned, thicker, right in all the places. And then they are the forerunners to win the Olympia. And we're not even talking about Ryan and Brandon and Ali at that point. What do you guys think about that?
I don't think Brandon will allow that to happen. I feel like if someone did beat him at this show, he's going to come back even fierier than ever. And he's going to make sure that weakness, or wherever he lost, isn't going to be a weakness at the Vegas show, at the Olympia. So in my eyes, do I think it's going to hinder him moving into the O? I don't think so. I just think we're going to see an even better version of Brandon in Vegas in September, whenever it is. What do you reckon, Hart?
After talking to a few athletes with some interviews, after looking at the social medias of a few athletes and their stories, I look at Brandon's stories over the last few weeks, few months. I look at his coach, and I just feel like, there's very few guys that are as locked in as Brandon Hendrickson every single day, every single week, every single month. And I think that's why he is the 3-time champ, a single Arnold Classic champ back in 2016. He's just dialed every single day, and he's dialed with a smile on his face. And this guy's coming for war. I don't see anyone beating Brandon. That would be one of the biggest upsets of the year for me. This guy, man, he's special, man. This is B. Henny. This is the originator of the Henny squeeze. I agree with you, Gaffa, talking about just if he can bring that polished, dense, thick back that we know he can bring. Come on, B. I think this show is all his from the front. It's not even a question. I do want to talk about, though, 2016. I don't know if you guys remember any of the faces up here, but this was Brandon Hendrickson's very first Arnold Classic win, and it's his only Arnold Classic win. You see Ryan Terry up here, Jason Poston, Raymond Edmonds, my big brother, Andre Ferguson, and Sharif Reed on the far left. And this was a crazy Arnold Classic, bringing back nostalgia. You can see Brandon, looks like he's 10, 15, maybe 20 pounds less than he is now. This was before the weight cap. What stands out most to you, Edvan, when you look at this throwback from about 10 years ago?
First thing is, I'm glad the shorts got tighter and they're not as big and baggy as what they are. But you could definitely see the potential back then. I mean, he's probably one of the youngest ones on that stage, but he stood his ground. It showed his composure. His posing was nice back then. You could definitely see you could definitely see what he could make of his physique from such an early age. Now, I believe he was deserving of this one. Looking at this lineup, I mean, Andre Ferguson looked amazing. Ryan Terry, a babyface Ryan Terry, looked really, really good too. But I'm glad that the sport has evolved, and it always was going to evolve to see more muscle showcase, more beauty that the physique and the bodies are able to present. But yeah, he definitely had it from a very young age. Gaffer, what do you reckon?
A couple of things that I notice. I agree with you 100%. I'm glad that the shorts are no longer almost down by the ankles anymore. So I appreciate that. But again, I also noticed that Ryan Terry has always worn blue shorts. Now everybody wears them, right? Since he's started winning. But when I look at Brandon, in terms of the flow of the physique, he's got the best flow of the physique up there. He's not the biggest guy. He's actually the smallest one. If you look, right? Like just from a density perspective, but in terms of how it's proportioned and look how it all streamlines into his waist, right? Like from wide shoulders streamlining right into the waist. He's the reason why the division is now much, much bigger. And I think he might have looked at himself on the stage here. We'll have to ask him at one point, but I think he looked at himself and said, I will never be the smallest one on stage again from a muscularity perspective. And he's obviously changed the entire division by being, pretty much the first athlete to really bulk up and put on a lot of size and still keep that flow, which is a difficult thing. We see a lot of other athletes bulk up, but then they become disproportionate, right? You see, too much arms, too much chest, the waist gets blocky, the back is not as proportionate as the front was, and it starts to get lopsided. Brandon's been one of the few athletes that's been able to not only increase in size, but still keep that flow, still keep that beautiful shape that just streamlines right into the waist and then pops out a true X-frame. And also the last thing I want to just mention is notice his posing. Notice how when everyone else turns around to do that back shot and face the curtain, he's still looking at the judges. The little things that he does, see how he's the last one to start turning and stuff? The little things so that the judges notice him instead of everybody else. I'm going to hold the pose a little bit longer than everyone else because I really want it that much, right? That's that hunger. That's that drive. He hasn't lost that. In fact, I think that he's one of the few athletes. If you notice Brandon, when he poses nowadays and he gets into this one hand on hip, one hand off, right? He even spins his back foot a little bit so that he turns and angles his body like a mannequin on display at like a luxury clothing store or so. And he's almost like spinning his body towards the judges ever so small. You can see like he pans his body from one end of the judges to the other end of the table. No other athlete really does that. It's such a unique thing that he does that just goes unnoticed, and it shows the polish and attention to detail that he has to posing. So hands down, one of the best posers in the world, clearly for a reason. And also the guy who's literally changed our division and continues to do so.
It's really good that he does that little pivot, because a lot of athletes don't, and like you said, a lot of athletes don't do that little swing around when they're hitting that front shot. And the reason I believe he does this is because he wants every one of those judges to see his physique. You got to remember, it's not just about the front judge or the head judge. There's maybe 3 or 4 other judges on either side. So by just making that subtle little pivot left and right, he now gives every single judge the opportunity to see his physique rather than just see it side on, and then therefore he just gets judged on a side angle. Very similar to like the guys when you're in the call outs. If you're on the ends of that call out, you don't want to be straight on, because that middle judge will never be able to see you. They'll be able to see you just from your shoulder or whatnot. So just by pivoting in slightly, angling your body in, you now give every single judge the best possible opportunity to judge you the way that you need to be judged.
100%. That's 1,000% correct.
Talk about attention to detail, boys. Wow, I love that. I guarantee you not a lot of the Horde even knew about that back toe pivot that Avomp and the Gaffa were talking about, but you guys are so right. I love that. And I'm thinking about it. Imagine how many little subtle things that everyone in the league has picked up on because of Brandon Hendrickson and the way he moves on the stage, off the stage. I mean, there's a reason why every time we talk about the GOAT in the division, Brandon's name is up there. Guys, we have 7 weeks to go until the Arnold Classic. And I want to know predictions. The Horde, drop your predictions in the comments below. Who is winning the Arnold Classic Ohio 2026? The Men's Physique Show. We really, really want to know. Crazy throwback back in 2016. I want to bring it all the way over to Bali, to our Italian giant. Alessandro Cavagnola has been dropping some updates. He's been in Bali eating some amazing food over at Terra Eats Bali. Phil, I'm sure you're familiar with this amazing food over there. He's been in the sauna, getting all the benefits from the sauna. He says he wants to drop below 10% body fat. Man, I'd love to be sitting in the sauna with Alessandro, picking that brain. That guy is a wealth of knowledge. Wait till you guys hear the interview that drops. But we have a little bit of a physique update from the back, which I'm not upset at, from Alessandro Cavagnola. We're talking 6'3", 240, 250 pounds. And we're getting a really cool workout update, a training update, which I always love because I think the Horde, you guys can benefit a lot greatly when we talk about what these guys are doing right and wrong with their training. I'll pass it to the Gaffa first. What do you like about this, Alim? What is he doing here, and how's this helping him shape the back?
Well, if you notice, he's on an angle on the side because what his objective is to really bring out the lats and get the width. And if you notice that the cable is right in line with his forearm, so it's not like the cable is coming out and then his elbow is bending in, right? Which is going to take away the tension on the muscle itself. So by keeping it all streamlined, by keeping the forearm at the same angle as the cable, when he brings it down to his hip, to his knee right there, but by his hip, it's really maximizing the engagement and contraction on that lower lat right there, right? And he's getting a really good stretch. Some people, depending on where you're at in your development, you need that stretch. You want to get that stretch. Some people decide to not stretch as far because they want to keep more of the tension on the lat and never lose that tension on the lat. A lot of it has to do more so though with your mind muscle connection. And if you can do it and still keep the mind connected to that muscle tissue so it's still engaged throughout the entire that entire rep, then it's all good. If you lose it because you go too far with the stretch, then you need to scale it back a little bit so that you constantly keep the tension on that lat so that it can develop. Excuse me. It's always about the tension over time. So time under tension, right? How long is my lat contracted and under stress during my set? And if I can keep it stressed, throughout the entire set from start to finish, I'm going to maximize my gains. So I love what he's doing here. I think it's really dope. And like you said earlier, Hart, this dude is just a wealth of information and knowledge. Can't wait for us to drop that on everybody. What you thinking, Avon?
Beautiful set. Phil, I want to, he does a few movements here, so I want to kind of pass each one off. I think Gaffey did a great job explaining this. He even says, focus on the tension. Phil, you're one of the head physique coaches in Australia. What do you think is the benefit through this movement? Can you break this down for us? What's going on here?
Yeah, so I personally like the single arm sort of iso lateral row. I've actually used this kit. When I was in Bali, I actually trained at an undefeated gym. Shout out Jackson Pios. He's an Aussie guy who is part owner of this gym here. But what I like about the single arm movements is, number one, you're able to effectively hit that lat without getting assistance from the opposite arm. So for example, if you're a left arm person and you're doing the V grip, you're limited, number one, with the range of motion because it's obviously going to stop at your rib cage. And with Alessandro being such a big individual, will he be able to activate that lat 9 times out of 10, maybe even 10 times out of 10, he won't be able to, as opposed to getting a single arm movement like this one where he's able to actually pull his elbow past his body and able to really extend that range of motion. So in regards to this exercise alone, I love this variation. You can also do it on a cable stack. But one thing that you always need to remember when doing any sort of lat exercise is to really keep, and I don't want to sound like a science-based lifter because even though I'm a a meathead. I do know about the biomechanics side of things. But what you need to do is keep a direct line from the cable to your wrist, to your elbow, to your shoulder, and then pull into the lat. So if you're almost pulling sideways, you're almost going to hit more rear delt, as opposed to leaning over slightly, keeping that direct line of contact from the machine into your hip, and therefore you're going to hit more lat and activate more lat that way. But I do like the single arm variation.
So you like the single arm variation over this double arm variation that he's doing right here?
No, so the beauty about this one is it's unilateral. So even though the machine's rolling together, you can see by the length of the handles, he's actually able to pull it all the way back. Now, would I prefer him to do it individually? Yes, but this machine actually allows you to pull individually. So it's not actually.
I didn't even see that. Did you see that, the Gaffa? There's two here. I didn't even see
Originally,
that.
I didn't see it, but as Phil kept talking, I saw what he was referring to. And I know, Is this a machine? Is this the one, Phil, where it's got the bar that goes across so that you can engage both simultaneously or turn it into an ISO? Is that this one?
No. So this one's a pure ISO.
It's pure ISO. Okay, cool. I know that. I think Panada has one that you can just pull a bar and it'll lock both of them in together, so you can pull and row with both arms as opposed to ISO. But this is a phenomenal machine, hands down. And I agree with you. The ISO is the move.
Exactly. If we're talking about getting the 1%ers, because when you're at this level and you're competing at the highest level of bodybuilding, you want to find exercises that are going to give you that 1% edge. Now, if it's a lat that needs to be improved, if it's a width issue and one lat is a little bit bigger than the other, you need to go the unilateral route. You need to do the single arm exercises, because all you're going to do by doing the double handed stuff is really not much. I mean, the stronger arm, the stronger side is always going to be more dominant to the weaker side. And with bodybuilding, it's like Michelangelo getting a statue, a thing of marble and chiseling it out. And these are the types of exercises that you need to do to really focus on where you're lacking behind, and just really sort of finesse that body.
Edvan, you have such an eye, bro. That was dope.
Thanks, man.
I've been doing this long enough. Australia.
You're
the best in Australia, bro. Right. I don't care what anyone says. Here we go, boys. The Horde. Alessandro Cavagnola, about 7 weeks out. I know we could spend about 30 minutes talking about every single exercise. Moves on to some reverse barbell rows, lat machine, normal grips here, and looks like some T-bar rows. This guy is growing, and this is, I think we believe, probably his biggest weakness. Even though he has a big back, I think just bringing out the most separation and detail for this giant human being is going to be the key. He's 7.5 weeks out. I do want to pop into his story, see if there's any new updates. 14 hours ago, he's still training. What is he doing here? He has some bands around him. Wow. I mean, this guy is on the move every single day. We just had an interview with him, and this is one of the most locked in, detailed, note-taking individuals in regards to his nutrition, his training, everything, every single day. Look at the massive, meaty legs. Looks like at a different gym. It doesn't matter where this guy's at. He's getting a workout in. Look at this. What do you guys think?
This guy's too strong for this hotel gym. This has to be a hotel.
That's what it looks like.
Right. The reason why he's got those resistance bands around those dumbbells is because the dumbbells that he had in his hand were probably the heaviest ones in that gym. So he's got to try to make it harder however way he can. But this guy's a monster. He's enjoying some nice food. It's good that he's still able. I mean, 7 a bit weeks out, he's still enjoying some social life. He's going out for dinners and whatnot. And I think that's the beauty about how the fitness industry and how bodybuilding has evolved. Like, you're still able to have that social life. I remember, watching videos 10 years ago when I first started, and it was always about the chicken and rice, broccoli and rice. There was no micronutrients in that diet. It was just the same shit every single meal. But we saw it with Alessandro. He's going out for dinner. I know Andre D. I saw him. I don't know if he was eating, but I know he went out partying somewhere. It was with a group of guys in Thailand. So it's good that these guys now have that balance, now understand that they are able to have somewhat of a social life and still be able to go out and do what they need to do, but still be 100% locked into one of the biggest shows of the year.
Gaffa?
One of the things that I really liked, what you just showed, was that cable, upper shelf, front delt. Right behind there. There you go. Where he takes the what's the name of that handle again? I'm spazzing out real quick.
V-bar, the V-grip.
The V-bar. Sorry about that. Yeah, I had to spaz real quick. But when he takes the V-bar right there and that reverse grip, bro, that is such a great exercise for building up that top shelf and your front delts, because especially notice how he doesn't bring his arms all the way down. They stay right level with the medial part of his pectorals, right? So when he pushes up, it's the weight's there, right? And he gets to stretch, but because he's really concentrating on the upper shelf, he doesn't go all the way down. He stays right up there, and he keeps the concentration of the weight right on the chest by not bringing his elbows down and keeping them out. So beautiful technique that he's doing right there, number one. Number two, notice how the weight's not heavy, right? Because he really wants to, those muscle fibers, he really wants to engage them and get that mind-muscle connection. If you start going too heavy, you start to incorporate other muscles. He starts to engage your lats, your legs, stuff like that. So by keeping the weight at the right amount for him, and you can see he's 6'3", 250, and he doesn't have a whole stack up there, he's able to really focus and allow the upper shelf to do the work instead of other muscles. So really love his technique. Like you said earlier, Hart and Edvan, he is a technician. He pays attention. We spoke about some of his weaknesses becoming his strengths and what he needs to do, and you clearly see him doing it. So I'm so happy for this guy, man. He's one of our brothers for sure. The Horde.
Last thing on Alessandro, I do want to bring up what do you guys notice when you look at Alessandro? He's got the clean cut hair, always wearing good clothes, but what really stands out to me is how damn clear this guy's skin is.
Yes,
he must be using Kippy. That's what
I think he's using Kippy.
Does he have an order that we don't know about? I think we should send him some Kippy.
We need to send him some Kippy, bro.
I know someone who does have an order. What's on that shelf there, Alim? Is that
talking about?
What's back there?
Kippy? Yeah, what's over there?
That Kippy. I'm trying to get skin like Alessandro.
You talking about this right here?
Talking about that right there. Exfoliating cleanser by Kippy. That's how you get Alessandro skin right here.
Bro, let me tell you, my wife loves this right now. She is going binoculars. She's using this twice a day. I've started using it since we received it, and you were right, Hart. Thank you, by the way. Skin looks great. Skin looks amazing. Feels like a baby's ass, but feels so good, right? And I got one of those hairy faces like most guys do and everything. So the skin is, we're working out, we're sweating, we're busting our asses and stuff like that. So the skin is going to get influenced, and it's going to start to break down. And this just rejuvenates it, collagen, the whole nine. This is freaking amazing. If you don't have it, you need to get it. Use our link down below.
We're sending some to Alessandro. Alessandro, you guys got the latest update. 7 weeks out, showing you the butt shot, the back shot, the hamstrings, the calves, and obviously some awesome training. Give that a shot. You guys heard the GAFA. You guys heard Edvan on breaking down the technique and what it's for. Try that for yourselves. Hopefully it helps. Let's move on to another multi-time Olympian, 7 weeks out, Benquil, a guy that I do think can win it. I know people thought I was crazy for saying it until it happens. That's why I love this sport. You never know what's going to happen. This is my boy, Gorilla Toe Ben, showing us why he could possibly win the Arnold Classic. I'm going to read this off. Benquil says, hey, we're officially 7.5 weeks out from the 2026 Arnold Sports. Time to dig deeper. I'm locked in, focused, and feeling great. My body is responding very well, and I'm quickly seeing progress and improvements made. I am staying on top of my recovery with the body work each week. Now it's time to start dialing in on the posing and conditioning. This 2026 season is going to be very exciting, Benquil says. I'm looking forward to it as a competitor, as a coach, and as a fan of this sport. The predictions are fun. He might be tuning into the channel. The predictions are fun, but they don't mean a thing. Oof, I love it. He's a dog. He's a dog, boy. He says the only thing that matters is how you look on show day. Brandon Hendrickson, Emmanuel Hunter, Vitor Chavez. He says the only thing that matters is how you look on show day. I'll let everyone else do the talking, and I'll keep working. Oof, I want to pass this one off to Edvan. You're looking at my boy Gorilla Toe Ben, giving us a beautiful update 7 weeks out. Is he gonna bring enough for the number one spot, Phil? And if it's not the number one spot, he says predictions are fun. I want your fun prediction, Phil. What placing is Benquil gonna get at the Arnold?
You can tell he's locked in. You can definitely tell he's locked in. I mean, he's not being too focused on social media. He's just letting the physique, he's letting the the body do the talking. Now, I love Benquil's physique, and I've always said it. He's got probably the most aesthetically pleasing looking physique on the stages. He's got nice flow, he's got nice structure, he's got nice... I mean, I thought he was a lot smaller when I was first ever talking about him. And I was rudely mistaken, because a lot of people told me this guy's a lot bigger in person than what he looks like on stage. And just by looking at these photos alone, those people are all 100% correct. He's filling out the physique nicely. He's got nice flow. He poses. He's a master of posing. And I said it in one of the last week's episodes, this guy's a master of his craft, being the coach that he is. And you know what? After we posted that video, we got so many comments down below just referring to this guy as a coach. This guy has that dog mentality. He's a straight shooter. As a client, that's sometimes what you need. If you're someone who's a little bit sensitive to harsh criticism, Benquil might not be the coach for you, but to have someone like him in your corner where he's knuckling down on you, making sure that you're ticking off the boxes, doing all the 1%ers, that's the guy that you want in your corner. Now, in terms of predictions, I know you said that he might win. I think he could come within that top 5 if he shows up. And I think he will show up because, again, like we saw with the Sasquatch performance, it wasn't the result that he wanted. A lot of people were 50-50 on who should have won that one. I feel like he's going to make sure that the fans aren't questioning him ever again. So yeah, be on the lookout for Benquil, because I think this is going to be the best Benquil that we've ever seen.
Bro, I'm 5'10", and I've had the opportunity to see Ben, and like I've said in the past, Ben's come up and given me some pointers and told me, what he thought of my physique and everything before stepping on stage, and, told me, hey, you're on today, you're going to take it. And he was right. And I did. And he's told me before, hey, you look flat and, you're not on. And he was right. He wasn't even my coach. So he will literally come up to you. And if you're open and you have a growth mindset, he will shoot straight with you and give you that reel to reel. We chopped it up in the hotel for like 35 minutes, just he and I vibing and everything and talking about physique. So he's an amazing person. If we were just looking at backs, Quill would probably be in that top 2 that are going to hit that stage. Certainly the top 3, because his back has come up. That's one of the most impressive changes that I've seen any athlete go through in such a short period of time, is the growth of his back. The lower lats, like he didn't have this width, he didn't have this density before. He had a good back, but it was a weakness of his. This is a major strength of his now. It's almost on that Emmanuel Hunter level. It's not quite there yet because of the thickness, but it's almost there, right? The detail, the striations. I mean, you see everything, the rhomboids, everything. It's a beautiful look that he's got. The traps all the way from the top, going all the way down. So that's beautiful. But when you turn to the front of Benquil's front pose, just because of the competition that's going to be here, I think that's where he still needs more development. He's got one of the best fronts, hands down, and certainly one of the best posers in the game, bar none. But one of the things, and it's a genetic thing, is the separation between his pectorals, right? I've got that too. It's a separation between the pectorals. Brandon Hendrickson doesn't have that. So it looks like a full armor plate going across. It just sits a little bit more pronounced because of that. So do I think it's dope? Absolutely. I think that, he has an incredible front shot. Clearly the arms have come up, striations all through the forearms. You can see one of the best, like I said, one of the best posers, bar none, in the game. But I think the abs for Brent, and when Benquil comes in on point, his obliques and his abs, again, top level, definitely deserve to be in that top 6 conversation in terms of abs and obliques almost, because you see the striations going all the way up in the obliques, the anterior serratus and all that, right? And then the big flare of the lat. But just, he's still got a little bit of gap there between that lat and that arm versus like what you would see with Brandon. So do I see him in the top 4 or 5? Absolutely. Do I see him in the top 2? I mean, Brandon Hendrickson, Vitor Chavez, You've got Dilson coming up right now. We do have two athletes. Andre D. Oh, can't forget him. Like, you're talking about guys who, if you have to be nitpicky at that level, and if their chest is fuller and more complete across from start to finish, right? It's going to be a little bit challenging for him to get that W at this show. But if anyone can do it, I mean, he knows the diet, he knows the posing. It's not just the chest, right? It's everything. If those guys come off, he's on. There's so many variables that have to have. Emmanuel Hunter, I forgot about him too. Very bubbly chest, complete all the way across also. So, top 5, 6, I definitely see that. Top 1, man, if he does it, he's going to shake up the world. I can promise you that. And that's just going to motivate so many other guys too, because they're going to say, man, if he can bring himself up in such a short period of time, what's his secret? Let me get that blueprint. They're going to do it. And then steel starts to sharpen steel and everybody comes up. So love Benquil.
Benquil Marnie, ladies and gentlemen, giving you an awesome new physique update 7 weeks out. And I forgot, I made a mistake, boys. We're dropping this video today. So the viewers are going to see this January 16th. This is going to be a heavy Arnold Classic video, but come Monday, we're going to have another one. These guys are updating like crazy at this point. I do want to congratulate Ben, signed with the new sponsor as well, White Rabbit Energy, which I drink over at the gym I'm on. So congratulations to Ben. I know there was a little bit of a fallout with the supplement company that he made very public in his story over the last, 48 hours. I forgot who it was, Rule 1 Proteins, but good to see Ben doing good. Looks amazing. 7 weeks out. No one has him winning on the Men's Physique Show. Drop some comments down below. Do you guys see Ben winning the show? Where do you have Benquil Marnie, the multi-time Olympian? We got some breaking news.
And while you're there, I've got some breaking news, boys. I've got some breaking news.
What you got?
What you got, bud?
My breaking news is we want some more of the Horde to join the Men's Physique Show team. So if you have made it to this point of the video, if you're enjoying the video, firstly, make sure to like the video. Also, subscribe to the YouTube channel. We're on a mission to get 10,000 subscribers by the Arnold Classic US. It's only 7 weeks away. And we're only a couple of, how many thousand? I think we're about 1,000 away, something along those
12,
lines.
1,300. We're there almost.
So we're almost there. So we want you guys to be part of the Horde. So subscribe to the YouTube channel, tap the bell to be one of the first to see our episodes when they do go live. And if you're tuning in on Spotify, make sure to follow us there. And then last but not least, we're not asking for any money from you, but if there's one form of payment that you can make us, it's to screenshot, take a photo of your computer screen, your TV screen, put it on your Instagram story, tag the Men's Physique Show official, tag Hart McGrath, Alim Bolton, and myself, Philip Nassali, and we'll reshare it to our stories too. That's my breaking news, boys.
Love that.
Love it. Love it. Wow. This hurts. Breaking news. Edvan Palmiera out of the Arnold Classic. Gaffa, what's going on?
Bro, when I heard this, and I hit Edvan up, and I know we're on a different time zone, but like this literally just happened, and I was so looking forward to seeing him step on stage because he has one of the most beautiful physiques of all time. Like, he's just got such a different look than everybody else, and it works for him. Beautiful, and he's still relentless. He's still in the gym. He's still giving it his all. But I think that there's a problem with his papers and being able to get over, which is why he can't make it, unfortunately. So it's not like there was an injury. There wasn't anything that happened other than it's the politics, unfortunately. And you hate to see a great athlete who's put in so much work, so much time preparing for something like the Arnold Classic and not being able to get his papers in time in order to come over here. But man, this really hurt me a lot. And we'll see what he says. Need to look out for Edvan. We're about to drop that interview here any day. And maybe I shouldn't have said that because everyone's going to know what we're going to be dropping now. Damn. I messed that up. But anyway.
No, you're good. I've been dropping Alessandro hints all day.
Yeah, well, there's that. Well, anyway, love his story. If you want to know a rags to riches story, if you want to know what perseverance is all about, if you want to understand, you want to get motivated and feel like you can do anything, Edvan Palmiera, when you hear that interview, if it doesn't resonate with you, if it doesn't touch you in a special way and make you want to just become a much better version of yourself and focus and lock in and obtain the unattainable and see it in your mind and see it become reality and realize it, then I don't know who the hell you are. But this guy has an amazing story. Love him. Great human being, first and foremost. Amazing physique, Edvan Palmiera. That's all I got.
Phil, what do you think, brother? I know you just got off the interview as well with Edvan. You guys connected very deeply, and I feel like that friendship is growing. How do you feel, brother, seeing your friend Edvan Palmiera not being able to compete because of politics at the Arnold Classic?
It's devastating, man, because, we know Edvan is a great athlete, a great competitor, but even more so, just a genuine, down-to-earth, humble guy. And once we dropped the interview, there's a little bit that happened before I think it was the Fit show that affected his placing with his loss to Dilson over there. But no, this is going to hurt. I know what it's like to diet. We all three of us know what it's like to diet down for a show, and Edvan's been doing it for a long time. He's done so many shows. He did so many shows in 2025. He did the China show. He flew over to China. He did 2 shows in Brazil. He did the Olympia just before then. He was making the move to now go to the States to do the US Arnold. So the guy's put his body through a lot over the last couple of months, and to have this opportunity taken away from him because of what's happening with his paperwork, it just sucks, man. It just sucks. And hopefully it doesn't affect him mentally. Hopefully, from what we're seeing, he's still in the gym. He's still eating his meals. Maybe, just maybe, he may think there's a little bit of hope. Maybe he can potentially, continue his prep and get that documentation over the line. I know for myself, I know for us guys, and I know for the men's physique world, we would love to see this guy up against, some of the best on that Arnold Classic stage. And I know for sure he's going to be fighting tooth and nail in hopes to get that done as well. But yeah, man, it's devastating to see. But as long as he's keeping his head locked in, his head strong, and it hasn't affected him, overall, that's the main concern right now.
Hey, Phil, how can this man not have his head in the game despite this, with all the adversity that he's been through? Just like, think about what he had to do in order to just eat, just for food. This is not going to break him. I'm not going to give that away. You got to watch the interview, but what he had to do and endure just in order to get a meal, come on. This ain't breaking him, bro. This is probably just motivating him, and he's going to come in bigger and better at the next show. So can't wait to see.
Thanks.
Sorry that he's not in the Arnold, though. Man, that hurts.
Training like he is. Breaking news, guys. Edvan Palmiera out of the Arnold Classic. 3rd place at the Olympia multiple times. 5th place at the Olympia 3 times, which is crazy. 7-time IFBB Pro Champ is not going to be there. I'm sure Cuts I'm sure wanted to have his top athlete there. And we're with you, brother. We're with you, and we'll create some short clips for this because I think you'd love to see the support from the Horde and the Men's Physique Show. Another guy that dropped out, Avomp. Tell me about it. What's going on here?
I don't know what's happening with the Brazilians. A couple of weeks ago, I said the Arnold Classic US was just a big rampage of Brazilian athletes. We've got Dilson, we've got Vitor, we've got Edvan, we've got Emmanuel. All of a sudden, 2 of those guys have dropped out. Now, what does this now mean for the other 2 guys? Are they going to have issues with their paperwork? Will we be able to see Dilson at his first, real big major event? Will we see Vitor Chavez, top 10 Olympian in the world? Is he going to be able to make the trip over? But again, this is going to hurt Emmanuel as well. I literally dropped a reel on him yesterday, and I was excited to see him on stage. We know he's an Olympian. It's another athlete that Cuts has lost at this Arnold Classic as well, man. But yeah, man, I'm feeling for these Brazilians, man. I'm hoping whatever's happening with the paperwork does change in the near future. I'm not sure what it's got to do with. I know a lot of the guys from the Middle East have issues getting their paperwork, accepted to travel over to do these shows. I'm hoping this is not going to be an issue for these Brazilian guys moving forward, because we know how much of an impact Brazil makes to the Olympia. We know how many athletes, whether it be open, whether it be classic, whether it be wellness, whether it be men's physique, whether it be bikini, the Brazilian support is huge in the bodybuilding community. And I'm hoping that there's no more carry-on effect for future shows, and even more so for the Olympia in 2026.
Gaffa, I want to ask you, sadly, and not to get deep into politics whatsoever, we don't talk about that on our platform, but I do believe the U.S. just banned about 70 countries from issuing visas this year. So what do you think about that, Gaffa? Do you think that's going to affect them coming to the O? What's going on?
It's shooting us all in the foot, man. It's like, self-sabotage in a sense because of the politics. And I hate when everyone just wants to show up and show out and give it their best and show the sacrifices that they've made over the duration of time, the polish that they've worked so hard to present on stage, get ripped away from them because of politicians. It's such some BS because it doesn't fit someone else's agenda, and that's the biggest thing that I hate about all of this is that no one cares, nobody cares, but because it's not their agenda, it impacts the common person, right? The person who's not at the helm or in that upper circle, if you will, if you call that upper. So it just really sucks. Plus, I was looking forward to Emmanuel because he's worked on his posing, and we were just talking about that last show, and we were talking about his shelf, and you can see that he brought up the chest, the upper portion of his chest in that last update, and he has simplified his posing. So I was really looking to see what he was going to bring to the table because he already has a great physique. Now we don't get to be graced with that. And unfortunately, it's not because of, he didn't do something right or he doesn't have the look or an injury or anything like that. It's all because someone says, you know what? I don't want them coming into the country, and that's it. That's the only reason. So that pisses me off for sure. But, can't wait to see the physique that he brings in the next show that he is able to attend. And I know he's going to be ready to rock. So Cuts will have him right for sure.
The question now is, where does this leave the Olympia? Because, obviously 70 countries being banned in a way, going to the States is going to hurt the Olympia massively. We see it all the time with the Middle East. Now we're seeing it with Brazil. Does this force the Olympia to kind of move countries? Chances are it probably won't. We know the Olympia, their home ground is always going to be America, but these questions now need to be asked. How do you get more of these athletes participating in your show? For example, if we talk about the Open, Hardy Chupan, massive name in the Middle East. And if his visa's not getting accepted, that's going to have a carry-on effect financially for the Olympia because now all of a sudden you've got half the Middle East not wanting to tune into the show. Same with Brazil. You've got big names like Raimundinho in classic physique. If his visa doesn't get accepted, you've got half the Brazilian population, half the Brazilian bodybuilding community not wanting to watch. Now you see even more of these big guys from the men's physique division as well. It's going to impact the Olympia massively. So I hope now questions are now starting to be raised in that Olympia boardroom to say, okay, what do we do now if 70 countries, that's going to mean less money, less eyeballs, and how are you supposed to fund the growth of the sport?
Great point, bro. Great point.
That's oof. The Horde, what do you think of that? That's wow. Drop it down below. Tell us your feelings on all that stuff. Some positives though coming out of this story. 2 dropped out, but we do have a replacement. This is the very first time I'm going to follow this guy, Lucas Vuedes, IFBB pro out of Brazil. So they found another Brazilian to take their places. Is that correct, Edvan and Alim? And if that is correct, how come his got approved and no one else didn't? And then let's check out his physique. What do you guys think?
Well, in terms of his paperwork, he might have had it already prior to, and maybe there's a expiration or so, and that's part of the challenge that they have. So he's almost grandfathered in. But we're going to reach out to him and see what's going on. Again, we've reached out to Edvan, and we'll hear back from him soon. He always responds fairly quickly with us, so we'll get the true nitty gritty. But in terms of his physique, if you can go to one of the things, because he's up and coming, but there's certain things, his waist in particular, that I wanted to point out that I think is, as of right now, compared to the other guys, part of his Achilles heel. He has a very dense, thick, but yet defined waist. But the fact that it is thick, I think, is going to knock him out of that top 7-8 contention almost for sure. I like his shoulders. I like his arms. He's got a good chest. In this one, I think his chest is even better in a different photo and a different, like a more updated. I don't think this is the most recent one that I saw from him from a show that he's done. I know he's been working on his chest. He has a really good back, but when we look at his physique, again, that waist, especially in the men's physique division, is so important to have it dialed in It has to be crispy. Those abs, those obliques have to be on point, especially going up and stepping on stage with the likes of Brandon Hendrickson, Emmanuel Hunter, Benquil, Andrew Diu, like Vito Chavez, who's his obliques and abs have come in tremendously. Like, wow, what he's done in another guy in such a short period of time, impressive. Taking his weakness and making it a strength. So, I think that even from the back, I mean, he's got a really wide back, but still the midsection just looks a little blocky, and I think he needs a little bit more development in that chest. So, those two things, I mean, I'm sure he's just hyped to be on stage at the Arnold and get the call. But I don't see him in that top 5 for sure. I don't even think he'll crack the top 7 based on the competition and how laser focused they are, and just having more years. Like, it's a journey, and these other guys have been just doing it longer, so they have more graininess, they have more mature muscle, they just have a more of a streamlined physique. They just are more in tune with their bodies than he is right now at this stage in the journey. But he just stays with it, keeps at it. He'll come up. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I agree. I think, he does pack on a lot of size, especially when he's in that front shot. And to your point, Alim, like I believe that midsection is going to be very crucial for him. His waist is quite thick. And I think he needs a little bit more ab control. I don't know if he's doing vacuums or whatnot, but that midsection is going to be incredibly important, especially when you're up against the likes of Brandon and Andre, Emmanuel, that sort of thing. So yeah, I feel like the core needs to be really improved on. I don't like how wide his arms are placed in this rear shot. I feel like he's got wide legs, he's got width, but I feel like he kind of hides it and he loses it the wider that he brings those arms. And even the front shot, there was a front shot that he did when he had his kind of foot pivoted out to the side, but he was kind of standing straight on. I don't like that pose on him. Again, like I mentioned, his waist is a little bit thick, so he does need to angle that, dip the hip, kind of angle himself a little bit more just to help the cause. But all in all, like I agree, I don't see him cracking the top 7. But for him to get the call up, obviously it wasn't the best way to get the call up, but end of the day, he is going to be on that Arnold Classic stage in 7 and a bit weeks' time.
Lucas, we're excited to see you, brother. We'll be in the building, and we can't wait to meet you, and we will definitely be rooting you on, brother. Next up, I'm actually going to go to Final Cut Pro, guys, because we got some interesting things to talk about regarding Aaron Banks and his coach, Cuts. Last episode, we talked about maybe a little bit of drama involving manifest competition wear, as well as absolute aesthetics. This week, we got another one, the best and the highest ranking, the guy that sends the most Olympian men's physique athletes to the Mr. Olympia every single year after year. There's a little controversy going on with him and his athletes. Aaron Banks puts up a post. He says, one thing I want to speak on because Cuts is really my guy. This is a great example of a athlete stepping up for his coach and maybe speaking for him. He says, I've heard that some Olympians and pro athletes left the Cuts team because he only focused on E-Banks. Aaron Banks says, first off, that ain't true. I get why it might feel that way sometimes, but that feeling is more about expectations than reality. Cuts is a coach, a husband, and a father. He just welcomed twins into the world. That means his time, energy, and his priorities have to be balanced, just like any man building a life. Being secure in who you are matters. Everything is not always about you. He gives you a plan. Your job is to follow it and put in the work, not for him to hold your hand and change your diaper. Aaron Banks goes on to say, for the record, I barely even spoke to Cuts until 7 weeks out of the Mr. Olympia, outside of the updates and notes. I wasn't getting my hand held. I trusted the process and I executed. If you need constant attention, hype, and reassurance, then he probably is not the coach for you. Not because he doesn't care, but because he has a lot of clients and a real family to take care of. He is not here to babysit egos. He is here to help people get better. Real ones understand that. Avon, I'm going to toss it to you first. As a coach yourself, can you relate, and what do you think's going on here?
So yeah, I mean, I can kind of understand where Aaron is coming from, because end of the day, like if you're competing, and let me first preference that I'm talking about the higher end Olympians. If you're at that point in your career, you've already got the fundamentals, you've already got the foundations, you're already, you're doing everything that needs to be done every single day to present the best physique on stage. Now, if you're an Olympian who's getting upset because Cuts isn't replying back to you in 3 hours or even instantly, then I don't think that's a coaching problem. I think that's more of an athlete problem, because at that point in your career, you should be able to navigate your way through things. If you feel like, I can't have the chicken, but I don't know what else to have, then maybe some more fundamental work needs to be done. Maybe you're not at that level yet. But if you're if you're a client who's more of a general population sort of person, who's just your everyday person who's going to the gym, you can kind of understand it a little bit more. Those people need their hands held a little bit more. They need, they need the reassurance, the pat on the back, etc. Now, to say that Cuts is purely focusing on Aaron, I don't think that's the case at all. I mean, we see how many wins, I think he's got it on his Instagram bio, how many wins, how many pro show wins he's done. So if that's anything to go by, he must be giving effort, or the same amount of coaching effort, to all those athletes, because there's no way you can get 20, 30, 40, 50, 100 wins, X amount of pro cards without putting that effort in. Yes, you can have the meal plan. Yes, you can have the training program, but there needs to be work behind the scenes to get that job done and to execute that. So I agree. There needs to be some separation from the business life and the personal life. Now, and myself included, like I know there's times where I'm so heavily consumed with my clients, and I'm so heavily consumed with my athletes and my work side of things, that sometimes I fall behind on my personal life, my family life, and I sacrifice a lot. And the way that I see, if you need to get to a certain point in your life, in your career, there is a lot of sacrifice. And I'm glad to see that Cuts is starting to separate family life and business life, because you can only imagine the amount of hours that Cuts is putting into his business. He's working with athletes all around the world. He's working on different time zones. He's flying to different parts of the States. Him potentially maybe flying overseas as well. What impact is that going to have on your family? At the end of the day, without your family, you're nothing. You need those people around you to support you and pick you up, and give you certainty when you're questioning things, etc. So I'm glad that Cuts is creating that line in the sand and say, hey, I'm going to separate my work from my business. I am going to prioritize my family, more often than not than the work side of things. And if athletes are upset by that, then maybe it is time to find a new coach, because that sort of relationship, that balance that Cuts is having with his family doesn't align with you. And I know how self-absorbed bodybuilders can be. I know how, and I don't want anyone to take this the wrong way, but when you think bodybuilding, in a way, it's all about you. You're the one getting up on stage. You're the one that's putting in the work, and there is a lot of sacrifice. And if you're someone who doesn't understand what Cuts is doing, then is bodybuilding really for you? Like, there may be a coach out there that may align with you a little bit better, but maybe Cuts isn't that guy. So yeah, I see where Aaron's coming from. I see where Cuts is coming from. And as a coach myself, as a husband myself, I know that things like this need to be done. And hopefully more often than not, more athletes do understand that.
Bro, when I first of all, Ariel is an incredible coach. He's probably going to go down as one of, if not the greatest men's physique coach of all time, just by the sheer volume and success that he's had in the industry by itself, and how much he's helped grow the division single-handedly by himself. Like, the division, of course, has grown through the likes of many people. But from a coaching perspective, he's done so much and given so much. And every time you give, that's a piece of you that you're giving to someone, something, and not giving somewhere else to someone, something, i.e. his family. I remember when, I think it was his daughter's birthday, and one of the athletes really were going over the top, complaining, bitching and moaning and stuff like that. And he told me about it, and he and I were having like this conversation about it. And I told him, I said, yo, unfortunately, you got adults that aren't emotionally mature, and they just don't understand, like, there's a time and a place for everything, and they don't have self-accountability. I've seen myself in my journey with people who are pretty close to me or were close to me, And at one moment they think they know everything and they don't need a coach and they can figure it all out. The next moment they need a coach right away to tell them exactly what to do. The next moment they got it all figured. I'm like, you're so wishy-washy and you're inconsistent. And people tend to lose opportunity and greatness because they don't stay consistent. That's one of the major pillars of becoming successful is consistency. Despite how you feel about something, you still go and do it. And I've seen people jump from coach to coach. I've seen someone jump like 5 coaches in 6 months. And I'm like, you're never going to get it. There's no way, because you're not consistent. You're not giving something enough runway, enough time to see if it even works. You don't like something the way it sounds. Someone's not holding your hand. Your bravado is that you know it all or whatever. And then you don't get the success that you think that you should have. I don't know if it's a privilege mentality. I don't know if it's a closed mindset. I don't know if it's just someone in a state of tomfoolery. But at the end of the day, the fact that they don't have certain characteristics that it takes in order to become a winner is why they won't win. Has nothing to do with the coach. Has everything to do with the characteristic or the character of the person. When no one's looking, are you sneaking cookies? When no one's looking, are you getting your meals in? When no one's looking, are you getting all your water in? When no one's looking, are you practicing your posing? When no one's looking, are you asking people, what do you think of my posing? And getting over the fear of posing in front of people so you can do it naturally. Are you controlling your breathing? Are you doing isometric holds with your abdomen so that you're not breathing out your stomach and you're breathing out your chest through your teeth? Are you doing the things that it takes in order to be a winner? If you're not doing those things, are you doing cardio? Like, if you're not doing the things that it takes to win, to me, you don't deserve it, and you are that. I don't say someone's a loser if you learn from the opportunity and you gave it your all. But if you sold yourself short and you didn't do the work that it takes in order to become a winner, maybe someone beat you and they were at their best that day and you were at your best and that's all you could give and they're just further in their journey, or genetically they're just better at this point than you are. But that's different because then you learn from it. But if you sold yourself short and you didn't put the work in, how do you expect to win? You don't deserve it. And frankly, I don't think the universe should give it to you. Because I hate it just like I hate when politicians strip someone who puts the work in of the opportunity to come here and perform. I hate when someone gets the W or gets an opportunity and they didn't put the work in where it's deserving and they should take the W. So I agree 100% with E. Banks. I know Ariel personally. He's a great guy. He and I have talked about this before and how needy certain people are. Like, you're a grown-ass adult. You really need someone to hold your hand like that? Bro, there's so much access to information from ChatGPT and other things you can see, our show, everywhere. Like, there's so much information that you can get and have at your fingertips and you can extrapolate. But if you don't look yourself in the mirror, you don't even know where to go. You don't even know what to look at and what to start working on because you think you're all that. And then you need your coach to hold your hand all the time. Like, no, bro. No. And I think with certain athletes, it's a little bit different, right? Like, certain athletes get used to a certain rhythm and they need something to shake the tree a little bit and get them excited about the division again. So they might switch a coach, right? Because they're so used to that, day in and day out, similar voice or similar style of coaching. So they want to change it a little bit. I mean, you look at Ryan Terry, he left his coach and coaches himself now, right? Sometimes you just need something different to see what will happen with your body. I get that. That's different. But if you're bitching and moaning because, hey, listen, I didn't get enough attention or from my coach, but your coach gave you the plan. He gave you the diet. He gave you the training. You have to execute, bro. At the end of the day, it's up to you to execute. At the end of the day, you have to look yourself in the mirror and say, what was my part in all of this? And that doesn't just hold true for bodybuilding. It holds true for everything. You get fired from your job. What part did you play? You break up or your relationship goes south. What part did I play? Your car runs out of gas while you were driving. What part did I play? You didn't gas up. You didn't do the things that you needed to do in order to avoid those things, and you could be at your best in whatever that was. So in my humble opinion, and I don't mean to ramble on, but it hits different because when you see people who are champions, they don't act this way. This is not the mentality of someone who is out for greatness. this is the mentality of someone who's living in a state of privilege, false privilege. So, that's all I have to say. I love Ariel, bro. Keep doing what you do. Stay with at the end of the day, your family is the most important thing. Your girls, your wife, and all like that, and the people dearest to you. And that's why this is my family right here on the Men's Physique Show and the Horde, because it's a conglomerate. It's a family has the same character. We share the same pillars. We share the same vision, and we share the same perseverance to achieve excellence within ourselves and impact the people around us. So I love you guys.
Love you, Alim.
Well said. Love you too, brother. Well said. I'm glad you guys spent a little extra time on that. Honestly, I think a lot of people are going to resonate with that, and that's why they're the Horde. We got 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Let's see. What do we got? 2 more topics for you boys.
Hold up.
Yep.
While we're on Aaron, now's probably a good opportunity to talk about our sponsors. First one being, Manifest board shorts. Aaron's the board shorts of champions. We see them everywhere on stages around the world. What Alex and Dorian are doing over there is absolutely amazing. And now's your opportunity to get some board shorts now that the season is starting to ramp up. Only a couple of weeks away now. So if you haven't got your board shorts now, if you need a pair of board shorts that are going to beautifully complement your physique, Manifest board shorts are the ones to wear. So drop Hart at checkout for that one. Next is supplement sponsor, Huge Supplements. Some of the best supplements in the game. We're rocking Huge over here at the Men's Physique Show. The protein powder, the pump formulas, the pre-workouts, the supplement line, the works. So if you haven't got supplements yet, if you're in the market to get some supplements, Huge Supplements, use code HART at checkout for that one as well. Next is Physique. I'm rocking the Physique shirt. Physique, what they're doing over there is absolutely amazing. They're, in terms of coaching, there's a whole heap of coaches out there wanting to help you guys, whether it be with posing, blood work, meal plans, coaching, preps, the works. So if you head over to the app, it's called Physique. I'm on Physique now as of yesterday. So I offer some help over there with posing and, physique critique and all that sort of stuff as well. I'll probably add a few more services down the track as well. But I'm on there. Hart's on there. The whole Men's Physique Show as a collective will be on there. So if you like what we're doing on the show, how we're critiquing the physiques, if you need a second pair of eyes to make sure you're doing things correctly as well, head over to Physique and check it out. Next is Kippy Supplements, Kippy Skincare. We said it before. Kippy has some of the best skincare on the planet at the moment. They're releasing some more supplements in the near future. At the moment, they've got the cleanser. Hart's using it. Alim's using it. I'm using it. Our partners are using it. Everyone's using it. We've got some of the clearest skin on YouTube. And if you want to have some of the clearest skin as well, head over to Kippy. Get your skincare from them. And
hey, Phil, can I say something real quick? Phil,
tell me.
Hold on, right before you go. A lot of guys are on gear. A lot of guys are having some acne issues. Some young guys coming in the game just, naturally have some acne issues and everything. Like this stuff, seriously, is a game changer for you. And if you don't look good on stage, it's going to show in your placing sometimes. And if you don't look good on stage, you're probably not going to perform as well as you can. So definitely you want to use Kippy. Sorry about that.
Absolutely.
Go ahead, Phil.
Absolutely. And last but not least is, I say this every single week, and I've got to maybe change what I'm saying, but the swaggiest doctor on planet Earth, Dr. Neville Campbell, over there at the Center of Wellness and Pain Care. Those guys do some incredible stuff. Take a look at him. Is he not the coolest doc you've ever seen?
That's the doc, bro. That's the doc.
In what country will you find a doctor like that guy? I wish my local doctor was as cool as Dr. Swag over there from the Center of Wellness and Pain Care. They do stem cell treatment over there. Alim's had some. I know Hart, you referred or recommended one of your mates at the gym. He's had injuries left, right, and center. Nothing's working. He's heading over there as well to get some treatment done as well. So they're all our sponsors. All their information and links and discount codes will be in the caption below. So go over there and check them all out.
Let's go.
Thank you, Phil. Last 2 topics of the day. Chiron Holden, a guy who's placed 3rd place twice at the Mr. Olympia. A lot of people call him the Uncrowned Men's Physique Olympia champ. Giving us a current look. He says, current look, let's see what we can do. What are we doing? Chiron Holden, keep in mind, I know Phil covered him in great detail in 2025. He already qualified for the 2026 Men's Physique Mr. Olympia, so he's ahead of the game. How's he looking, Edvan? This is your boy.
Those legs are looking crazy. You know, I'm one of those guys that have called him the Uncrowned Olympia. I mean, he's got a tremendous physique. Like, look at he's got the best chest. He's got the best tits on social media. He's got the best tits on the Olympia stage as well. So yeah, man, this guy looks good. His posing is flawless. I mean, what can we say about him? The guy's got his own statue at the Legion Sports Festival. So if that's not saying anything, and it's not saying, I mean, if that's not saying anything and is showing the world how good of an athlete he is, man, this guy's going to do some damage in 2026. And even more so, he's got even more time under his belt. He qualified in 2025. He's not like the rest of the pack that need those 2 pro wins or are relying on points in 2026 to get that Olympia qualification. So yeah, like I said, he's got a head start. He's ready to rock and roll. He's ready to go to work. And yeah, we're looking forward to seeing what he's going to bring to Vegas in a couple months' time.
Bro, Chiron is such a unique individual. You know, first of all, he starts pulling down the pants and everything, like a second ago, and I instantaneously want to pull out some ones and start throwing them like we're in Magic City here in Atlanta. But anyway, no, I'm just joking.
What's that?
People might say swinging Richards, and no, I'm straight on that.
He ain't joking, Horde.
But no, seriously, the dude is a yogi. I mean, he's into yoga. The guy is all about his physique. Such a rare genetic athlete to be that bubbly, that striated, and yet that flexible, and just he could do, literally could be a running back, could be a tight end. The guy could be anything. He chose Men's Physique, and he has such a unique style, a unique flair at posing. You know, he comes in with a beautiful tan all the time. Super bubbly upper chest. To your point, I'm surprised they don't make him wear a bra before he gets on stage. You know, like the double D bra or something, because the dude is really, really dense in the chest area. Great lats, small waist. You know, look at the posing, bro. Like, it's entertaining. Keeps the arms close to the body so he doesn't have a lot of space between the lat and the arms and everything. Look at that flare. Does the little fitness style turnaround and everything with that one leg in front. So hilarious. I love it. Right. But and the dude is just interesting, and I can't wait to have him on the show so we could talk some anime with him and vibe out, because he just has a great spirit about him. Again, we mentioned before, he and DJ Pure, his coach, they've been together since the beginning, I guess, from the tutor to the rooter. Great human beings, as you can see, not only on their post, but the success that they have at the shows, their interaction, their camaraderie, it's infectious. And I just love this guy. Hands down, if there's anyone who you could say is the uncrowned champion, I would say him and Vitor are probably up there, right? Like definitely Chiron. He's been doing it longer and whatnot. So I'd say Chiron number 1, maybe Vitor number 2. But this guy is just a genetic absolute beast. And I hope that he does a few more shows leading up to the O, because we want to see what he's got. Like, we want to see him compared to other people doing some big shows. Maybe he does the Dubai. I'm sure he's probably going to do Legions again. Really excited to see what he brings to the table. And clearly he's working. He's putting that work in. Everybody else is coming up. So Chiron ain't taking his foot off the gas pedal. I can promise you that. What do you think, Hart?
I think we need to get this guy on for an interview. I think that would be a very special interview. I think a lot of people, when Chiron talks, a lot of people like to listen to see what he has to say. As you guys said, he's a spiritual person. I mean, I don't know any other men's physique pros in the world that between prejudging and finals, they go outside and meditate on the grass. And clearly, maybe some guys need to start doing it because it's winning him shows. I know this isn't the first time he's done that, but the Men's Physique Show, guys, we did want to bring you Chiron Holden's current look. I'm excited, man. I hope he, knowing this guy, I feel like he's going to drop a 3-2-1 week update. He's going to say, I'm doing the New York Pro or I'm doing the Pittsburgh Pro. What do you think, Gaffa?
Hells yeah. That's his style. He'll chill and then all of a sudden he'll lay low. And at the very last second, boom, and everybody's like, why am I doing this show?
Agreed.
I gotta go with Chiron now, right? Isn't that always the vibe with him? Like,
always.
He waits and waits and waits. And at the very last, I think you have to have your contract And yeah, you have to have your contract in by that Monday, and they release everyone on Tuesday. He'll have it in at like, if it's 12 o'clock, he'll have it in at 11:59 and 59 seconds left, and he'll get his contract in and be like, "I'm doing the show," and everyone's like, "Dude, like I would have just stayed home if that was the case," you know. So you better be you better, if you're doing shows, don't think that there's any shows out here that are gimmies. You don't know who the hell is going to pop up, and Chiron is notoriously known to just come in, take your food off your plate like he's in prison, and keep it moving and be like, "What you gonna do? That's my cornbread. You're done."
Beautiful physique, beautiful human being. Last topic of today's show, the 2016. I don't know what you call it. There's a thing going around where everyone's posting about 2016 nostalgia and what were you doing? What did you look like? I had to drop a comment. Terry was replying. I said the nostalgia. And what do you guys think? Ryan Terry drops these photos. I'm just gonna skim through them. Ryan Terry says, "Right, I'm in." His turn to drop the 2016 archive. Trip down memory lane, trolling or rolling it back to 2016. And we're just looking at the old Ryan Terry. Second place in 2016 at the Mr. Olympia. Jeremy Potvin was up there. Brandon Hendrickson. I think that was one of his very first Olympias. He's never been outside of the top 5. Gets 4th place. I think his second Olympia. Andre Ferguson in 5th. Jeremy was winning his third one at the time. Him and his lovely wife Amy. Can't wait for this interview to drop. Arnold Classic, Olympia 2016. Look at this. Look at young Ryan Terry. Always had a beautiful midsection. He took that personal this year when Ollie Bilal said I had the best midsection. Ryan Terry's like, guys, I'm known for having the best midsection. Always had just such a clean look. Love this shot of Ryan Terry up close, modeling look. 2016, Great Britain and Olympia. Dude always looked nuts. Always looked absolutely crazy. Wearing the United States pants with the Great Britain in Manchester Airport. Love to see it. Him and his lovely wife again. Him and Steve Weinberger over in New York, or is it New York or New Jersey? At Bev Francis Gym.
Yeah, it's Bev's gym. Yeah,
Bev's gym. Probably some of the covers that he's done for all these fitness magazines. I remember some of these, bro. So cool to see. Ryan Terry. Always got that blue. He's got the blue on no matter what he's doing. I love the posing here. I would love to see him hit this shot in 2026. Again, him and his lovely wife. Dang, look how much smaller he was.
No.
That's crazy. Just shreds all day long. The dude always had it. I love it. Looking like AI here. This looks like AI Ryan Terry, but that was really him. I don't think AI was back in 2016. Him and his lovely wife again. And wow, I didn't know he could do that.
I didn't know he could do that.
That's impressive as hell.
That's dope.
What do you guys think? Ryan Terry, 2016 nostalgia. What photo caught your eyes, guys, out of all these?
Definitely that one.
The obvious. Yeah. Like,
shit. But, I didn't know he's doing this.
You know, as Wild Boys, like, we talk about guys who are able to put on size like Brandon and not lose their shape, and Ryan's definitely one of those guys, right? Like, even the striations, even the small waist, and just how proportionate he is, he put on the size the right way. And that's why he's the champ. You know, he figured out the secret sauce. He knows the secret sauce for himself, and he just runs it back. I mean, maybe a slightly thicker back, right? From a density perspective. Right? That's about it. Maybe a little bit more on the upper shelf of the chest. Maybe. He's got nothing else that he really can do to take him to the next level, because the guy steps on stage and almost looks like he has no skin. It's just like no skin, no fat. It's just, this is what if you were to dissect a human being and you want to see every muscle fiber, this is what it looks like. So handsome guy, model, has been a model, will, still at an older age, still looks amazing, pause. And definitely he's in that top, 3-4 guys in the league that just have that look like, you go, damn, as a guy, I don't even look at guys, but I got to give it to him. He's a good looking dude. What do you think, Edvan?
I got to say, Alessandro Cavagnola better be careful, because I reckon Ryan Terry in these shots might steal his thunder. But if there's anything that's screamed, the one thing that's there's only one word that I can say to describe Ryan, and that's consistency. This guy's been so consistent throughout his career. I mean, if you look at his physique compared to where it is now, it's almost like it's the same, just bigger. Like his abs have always been dialed in. His obliques have always been dialed in. Yes, his chest has gotten bigger. Yes, his arms have gotten bigger. Yes, his delts have gotten bigger. The evolution of Ryan Terry has just gotten better and better and better as time goes on. I mean, even to his look, like the guy hasn't aged a day since these photos were taken. Yes, he's matured a lot more in comparison to what he was here, I would imagine. But I feel like he's just been a genuine guy throughout his whole career. And yeah, I mean, what an athlete he's been. I mean, he's done cover photos. His beautiful wife, Amy, he's done some photos with her as well. So yeah, this guy has been a role model for a lot of people throughout the years. And what an awesome highlight reel to drop as well.
Hey, I got a question for you guys. For the fans actually, would you guys like to see a Ryan Terry interview from the Men's Physique show? And if so, when would you want to see it?
It's going to be hard,
I think
man.
if anyone says as soon as possible, if there's any answer other than as soon as possible, I don't know if you're into Men's Physique, but we're curious. Let us know. Say something in the comments on our YouTube channel, or hit us up on Instagram. Let us know, when would you like to see a Ryan Terry interview? And if so, when?
It's going to be hard to get a hold of him, man. He's a busy man. See all the traveling he's been doing lately? Went to Romania, Dubai. The guy's everywhere. India. Let's hope we can get a hold of him.
Well, we know a couple of people who know a couple of people. There's that.
We're going to try our best. That's for sure. What a beautiful show. Thank you, boys, for being here.
Yeah, that was a banger of a show. I mean, we say it every single week. What's this one? Almost an hour and a half. It's a big episode. We've covered a lot of topics here. The Arnold, some of the Arnold guys, the works. And, this show wouldn't do as well as what it is without the support of the Horde. You guys are the backbone behind the show. And if it wasn't for you guys showing up day in, day out, showing the love, showing the support, there would be no Men's Physique show. So if you've made it to this point of the video and you haven't subscribed yet, please do so. We're on a mission to get 10,000 subscribers by the Arnold, which is only 7 and a bit weeks away. That is crazy. I can't believe how quickly time is flying, but it'll be here before we know it. So if you haven't yet, subscribe to the YouTube channel, tap the bell icon to be notified as soon as an episode drops. We also drop a handful of interviews if you are new to the channel throughout the week as well. Also, if you're listening to this on Spotify, or if you don't know, we are also on Spotify. So make sure to follow us on Spotify as well. And also, like I mentioned earlier, we don't take payment from you guys to fund the show. But if there is one form of payment that you could offer, it is to take a screenshot or take a photo of your computer screen or take a photo of your TV, upload it to your Instagram story. Tell all your friends and family about the Men's Physique show, especially if your family or friends are supporters of bodybuilding as a whole. And make sure to tag the Men's Physique show official, Hart McGrath, Alim Bolton, and Philip Naselli, and we'll put that on our socials as well. And last but not least, a special thank you to all our sponsors who I mentioned earlier in the episode. We'll drop all the links and their discount codes down below. But again, thank you so much for tuning in to the end, and we'll see you guys in the next one.
Peace.